What is up, Power Ranger fans? Welcome to Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and this is the show where we talk all things Power Rangers. How is everybody doing today? Happy Election Day, everybody. I hope everybody went out and voted safely. Not to distract from Election Day, but I did want to put out an episode, short episode, on the channel today. Want to commit to the Tuesday 6 p.m. schedule for Off the Grid, and I'm going to be reviewing some comics today. So let's get into it. Like I said, if you didn't know, this is a Power Rangers podcast. Right now, it's a part-time podcast, Power Rangers part-time podcast, and it is just something where I can kind of vent about my love for Power Rangers, or maybe my dislike for certain things in Power Rangers. But lately, we've been just reviewing a lot of the comics. We talked about the big movie TV universe news last week, which again, I'm super excited about, but trying not to get my hopes up. And today we have two comics to review. We're going to be reviewing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 55, subtitled Second Chance, and Drakkon New Dawn number 3, which is also the finale of that storyline. Before we jump into those, I just want to say I hope everybody's well and safe. I also want to tell you guys about TeePublic, where you can get Off the Grid merchandise. If you go to TeePublic, search Off the Grid or search for the creator, Jake Berlin, who designed the merchandise, which is amazing. Thank you, Jake. He also makes all the graphics for this show. Or just type in Apocaflix, Apocaflix. That is our main movie YouTube channel where you can find all of our merchandise, including some Off the Grid stuff. So go ahead and check that out. The new design t-shirt is really, really cool, and they're super comfortable. So please go and check that out. Also, I am attempting to get this podcast onto audio platforms. So hopefully soon, in the next week, I will have Off the Grid on podcast platforms. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Like I said, let's jump into it. We're going to talk Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 55, which is seemingly the last issue of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I believe because this issue ends, and of course we're going to be talking spoilers. If you did not know, it's in the title of this video. This issue ends with, will continue in Mighty Morphin number 1. And as we know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 54 was an all Omega Rangers issue, where they fought those godlike beings, and they headed to Earth and said, hey, we need to talk to Zordon. This issue ends with the last time we see Zordon and Alpha saying we should contact the Omega Rangers to see if they can come help. And so it's leading into these separate issue runs where we're going to have Mighty Morphin as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers run, and Power Rangers as the Omega Rangers run, which, love it. I miss having two ongoing issues, even though we've had Drakkon New Dawn, but that's just a 3-issue special. We're going to get back to where it was Go-Go and Mighty Morphin, which I really enjoyed. So let's get into number 55. Look, other than the stuff that ties into the Green Ranger and all that stuff and leading into the next storyline, I didn't love this issue. So we left off from when all of Zed's minions, Rita's old minions, including a putty Rita, turned into the Dark Rangers, with Zed using the Green Chaos Crystal. And they, at the end of the number 53, they were turned into basically big monsters, or big Zords, or whatever you want to call them, with Zed's magic. And I was like, okay, cool. So we get the classic Power Rangers. Zed is first attacking the town, talking down to humans, saying they're worthless, and to the Power Rangers, I'm assuming. And they battle with the Dark Rangers, who are big, with the Lightning Zords. There's banter between them, but they're having trouble with these Dark Rangers. It seems like they're more powerful, and they're kind of trying to fight them. They're hitting each other on accident. And Billy realizes they're losing this match. So Billy contacts Grace Sterling of Promethea, who is who was an original team leader of Zordon's first team of Power Rangers that we know of before the original team that we're familiar with. Grace Sterling was the Red Ranger, as you know, later on in her years, or she kept the green Psycho Dagger from back in the day, used that technology to build Promethea, and now she's an older woman, and she's the head of Promethea. She's kind of like a Nick Fury type in a way. So she's like a Nick Fury head of Star Labs mix in a way. And so we saw last time that her and Billy, they reactivated the Green Dragon coin, and they were trying to search for a new Green Ranger. So Sterling threw out Drakkon. Billy was like, no way. Billy had some suggestions supposedly. And I've always been saying from the beginning, since way before they ever teased a new Green Ranger, for several years I've been saying this, that the new Green Ranger is going to be Matt, Kimberly's ex-boyfriend. I don't know if that's the case anymore. It's not seeming likely, but I do believe there's a possibility they pull a plot twist on us, and that is still the case. Now, if you go back to this, so the battle continues, and they're fighting, but then it cuts to the command center where Zordon and Alpha are talking, and they're like, okay, we're really concerned the Rangers could lose this fight. Let's contact the Omega Rangers. Then we see Grace sneaking into the command center and talking to Drakkon. So we know Drakkon's locked up down there. He's going crazy. He's talking to a destroyed Saba. And Grace goes to him and says, hey, do you want your legacy to be just a crazy psychopath locked up forever, or do you want to redeem yourself? Drakkon doesn't seem open up to the idea. He's like, oh, redemption, predictable, whatever. So either he is the Green Ranger that shows up at the end, or they're trying to throw a big misdirect, which if it is, it's very obvious, and I'll get to that in a second. But we cut back to the fight, and the Dark Rangers turned into a Zord, what they call the Terror Zord, and like the humanoid versions of the White Tiger Megazord and then the Red Dragon Zord are fighting this Terror Zord, and they're getting their butts whipped, and it seems like they might lose this fight, and then this Green Ranger comes out, and I forget the name of the design, but it's the design with all the gold stuff added to it, and you could look it up. It's on the cover of the issue. And this Ranger shows up, whoops on Zed, destroys that big Chaos Crystal that Zed has, and there's a big explosion. It weakens Zed. He teleports out of the way. He threatens the Green Ranger, says, you're going to pay for this. Then it cuts to Promethea, where Grace is talking to the Green Ranger, and he's looking up at the Psycho Dagger. You see like parts of the Green Dragon Zord being held there, and she says, yeah, you're my Green Ranger, you're working for me now, basically. And we see the helmet come off, and the person's holding it. So they tease Lord Drakkon, but they didn't reveal. Now look, like I said, I like this issue. It's okay, it's fun. I didn't love it, to be honest, other than we finally saw the Green Ranger that is supposedly gonna have a prominent role in the upcoming Mighty Morphin and Power Ranger runs in the storyline. And I don't think it's Drakkon, because if she went to Drakkon and he was kind of against it, and then we see the Ranger show up, he fights, or she fights, we'll find out who it is, and they cut to Promethea. Why wouldn't they reveal it's Drakkon if they already teased that it's Drakkon in this issue? Why wouldn't they show the face of the character? I think they purposefully have been misleading us, thinking it's going to be Drakkon with the previous Billy and Grace meeting in the past issues. Then her going to talk to Drakkon. I think Drakkon turned her down, or she was like, changed her mind, which is a smart move. I would not put Drakkon I would not give Drakkon a power coin, no matter what. But we'll see. I don't know who it is, to be honest. Who would it be where it would be like, oh my goodness, that's so cool? Who could it possibly be? Okay, I still think Matt's a part of the equation. I think when Billy and Grace were talking, that he had a suggestion, and one of them was Matt. A good guy, somebody who already knows their Power Rangers, a brave person, courageous. I think he would be a good fit. And I've been saying it. I want to be right. It could be Drakkon. I can't. It's either Matt or Drakkon, to be honest. And I can't think of anybody else. Like, it's not Skull, or it's not. It could be a new character or it could be a character that we know who hasn't been introduced in the comics yet, or at least not in this timeline. Like, they could pull just a random Ranger out and bring them in. That's very possible. And I do know one of Grace's partners, when they went up to the moon and fought the Green Cycle Ranger, some of them died, but I think one of them survived. It could be him. I really don't know, but I'm still going with Matt, because if it's Drakkon, they didn't show his face for a reason, so they're trying to misdirect us, and so I think it's still Matt. I think they've been building towards that this whole time, and they've known they're going to do that for years now. So, yeah, what do you guys think? I'm a little underwhelmed by this issue, to be honest. I thought it was okay, and then teasing us with not showing who the Ranger is, that's... I was expecting to at least see the face. I was expecting it for it to end with showing us the face, and then we have to wait for the next issue, or the first issue of Mighty Morphin. But whatever, it's fine. Overall, the storytelling in the entire universe is excellent. This adds to it. I'm so excited to see the Green Ranger and the White Ranger in the same existence at the same time. I'm stoked. So I'm still very excited about Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. But I didn't love this issue. Like, the fights with the Dark Rangers and their Zords looked cool, but it wasn't anything amazing to me. All right. Like I said, let me know in the comment section, what do you think of this issue? Who do you think is the Green Ranger? And what any predictions you have for Mighty Morphin number 1? All right, let's head on to... we have 2 conclusions. I believe that was the conclusion of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers run. And now we have the conclusion of Drakkon New Dawn, which I said before, I don't think this is the end of this story. I think it was kind of a transition story to show what Ranger Slayer does in this world and leading on to her. But we'll talk about how I might be wrong, actually, because, I mean, I'll say it. She lost... Her power coin was destroyed. So she's no longer Ranger Slayer. She doesn't have her armor. So we'll see. So this opens up with Jason talking to Trini and Zach in the Coinless world. And this is Coinless Jason, who's back, who never died. Lord Drakkon kept him alive to kind of torture him and to challenge Drakkon, both, philosophically and physically. So we get to that, and he wants to give Trini and Zach coins. Obviously, this took away the Sentry's power, putting them in danger. It's why they couldn't defeat Eclipta in the last issue, and might have actually led to the death of Adam, actually, which is... I'm surprised. They're mad at him in general, but they didn't directly address that. I mean, Scorpina mentions Adam, but who she started kind of like a little romantic relationship with, but they didn't address Jason maybe being responsible for the death of Adam, which is very interesting. So obviously these sentries try to attack Jason, and we know he's one of the best fighters in all the Power Rangers. Takes him out easily. He gives Trini and Zach their coins back. Then Ranger Slayer shows up. She's like, "You hurt everybody." Scorpina shows up and attacks Jason, and Trini and Zach say, "Nope, we're good." They drop their coins on the floor, and Kim talks to Jason and says, "Look, he put me through trauma too," referencing Lord Drakkon, "and he caused all this pain. You're hurt. I understand why you're doing what you're doing. Like, let's work together and get this done." And Jason seemingly comes around. She takes off his helmet. He's crying. And they're like, "Okay, let's work together." And Eclipta has grown into Megazord size. and they're like, okay, what do we have? Obviously, we had that Lord Zed Zord amalgamation, which Finster calls Zerd, which was pretty funny. It's stupid, but even Slayer's like, please don't call it that. And then I forget who. Somebody comes up with the plan to use a cannon from the Black Dragon Zord that they were building to build a diffuser in order to distribute the coins again across the centuries and give them their power so they can get their army back to take on Eclipta. Kim's like, look, let's use my coin. Jason offers up his so we can give everybody century powers. So they put it into this diffuser. It kind of it shatters, and then they get like this crazy looking mix of all their armors all mixed together, and they call themselves the Shattered instead of the Coinless or the Centuries, which was kind of cool. The big thing to me was Jason actually giving up his coin, which was a big move, but he's an honorable character, so it makes sense. And then we cut to the battle, big battle. Jason, Bulk, and Skull are in the Zord fighting Eclipta. All the Sentries and Coinless are fighting her, like crawling up on her. They do something to knock her down to regular size. And then in the midst of this battle, I think the diffuser blows up or it deactivates, and they all lose their power. And Eclipta takes out the Rangers easily. But there's like thousands of humans, right? Soldiers. And I think Eclipta's like the only one left. And even though I still think Eclipta probably would have been able to beat a bunch of regular humans, good fighters or not, they kind of, that cliche thing where the crowd rips the person apart. They kind of all attack her all at once. And and then we kind of cut to the aftermath, and the power coins are destroyed. We see Kimberly and Jason saying goodbye. Jason's shadows walking away. They start to rebuild. And we'll talk about the end tag in a second. I thought it was cool. I loved this run of Drakkon New Dawn. 3 solid long issues. Very entertaining. Added to the world and the mythology. I thought it was awesome. Now, I'm a little confused. So let's see here. I'm going to look this up. Number 3, because Andros is name dropped, right? So basically the last page is saying, oh, Andros, did Eclipta succeed? And he's like, no, but no more. Andros is going to not fail. And I'm curious if anybody knows, let me know in the comment section, because it didn't look like Andros, but I was confused. I didn't know who that was in the image, and they said Andros is working for Dark Spectre. So either way, if it is Andros, that's interesting. So I'm pulling up an article right now, and I don't want to waste time. So somebody here, I'm not going to name the website, but they're saying that Power Rangers New Drakkon New Dawn, it's a bit of a doozy. Okay, so I disagree. I think it was pretty fun. Let's see here. I want to see what they say about the. Did they say anything about the Andros thing? I don't think they do. So, okay, the issue and the story ends with an evil armored Andros who appears to work for Dark Spectre with a wicked-looking weapon arrive on Earth. Okay. So an armored Andros who appears for Dark Spectre with a... Okay, so it's just a different Andros. He looks different in this universe, in this world. So in this world, Andros is evil. He's working for Dark Spectre. So and he's coming to Earth. If that's the case, then this story's not done. They didn't end that tagline with that. if the story was done. But my question is, how do they continue it if Ranger Slayer, because Ranger Slayer is one of the coolest thing ever in Power Rangers, and especially in these comics, and how do they continue her story without her look and her power coin? Look, it's the comics, it's Power Rangers. They can figure out a way to get her power coin back. I just want her to look like Ranger Slayer again. And especially if we see the character back in some type of crossover or something like that. But yeah, that's interesting. It could be a situation where it was just a fun little Easter egg or whatever. That's fine. Or maybe Andros plays a bigger... This Andros and this Dark Spectre play a bigger storyline in the grander story. Let's say this whole issue with Mighty Morphin and the Power Rangers, with the Omega Rangers and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, whatever conflict they're going to have, their issue, after that issue's done, what if Ranger Slayer comes to them, we're being attacked by Andros and Lord Spectre, and Dark Spectre, we need your help. And then that's the next storyline. That's possible. But I just want to see Ranger Slayer get her coin back somehow. It was poetic the way she gave it away, but I'm curious to see how they handle that. Again, let me know in the comment section, what did you think of Drakkon New Dawn number 3? And what do you think of that end tagline with Andros, an evil Andros working for Dark Spectre? That's exciting because Andros is a powerful character. I would look, they did it with Tommy, where they made Tommy a big villain, where an alternate version of Tommy became a villain. What if an alternate version of Andros becomes a villain and he's your next big bad along with Dark Spectre? I think that could be pretty cool. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What did you think about these issues? Theory away. I want to hear your thoughts. Again, thank you all for listening to this podcast or watching this video. I truly appreciate it. This is your place for Power Ranger news talk, comic book reviews, TV show reviews, movie news talk, anything going on in the world of Power Rangers. I also review toys when I do get them. Again, I'm your host, Jacob Bartley. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, which will be next Tuesday. Even if there's no comics, we will come up with something to talk about. Until then, may the power protect you.